Hey there, this is Arnold with Capital Property Solutions, here to talk about our yearly association planning as one of our series in the board development program we've created. Um, Always get asked this time of year when things start to slow down with associations by board members, what is it that we're supposed to do as a board? And so we created this program to really give you a handful of things that you should be focusing on as the advocates for your association. So let's jump right in. We've created the success cycle, and the elements that we believe are important for each board member to focus on, we call them the 5 C's of the success cycle. So the first one is the community calendar, the common elements, compliance, committees, and then followed up with the most important of all of these, communication. Really, what we want you to do is be focusing on the future of the association, looking forward to what the next 12 months are, as opposed to looking at the immediate next steps of the association. So the first one we get into is the calendar of the community. Now, as a board member, we want you to think more so about the community, the residents, the owner experience in your association, not diving into the details of what is happening from an operational standpoint. That's what we as a management company do, and we create a calendar. So this is actually a supplemental calendar for your association. And again, focuses on things that affect homeowners. That way, when they get this calendar, they see 12 months of activities that affect them. It gives them a very clear picture of what that year looks like, answering that question, what's happening in the association that affects me? So then the next element helps you fill in that annual calendar. So the common elements, again, take a look at each element that the association is responsible for and think about how owners are using that space. You could think of it in a way of adding community events to those spaces. You could think about it as communicating any of the bigger projects that are going to be happening in that area. Or you can think about it as any kind of rules that need to be implemented or changed to help the enjoyment of that common space. But again, it's about the connection and utilizing those common elements to affect the community as a whole and in a positive way. The next one we talk about is compliance. And we bring this up to be more proactive and positive to the community. If you are thinking about the prevention and what can make people successful with the compliance in place in your community, in essence, you're giving them the opportunity months in advance of property inspections that involve compliance so they could be successful at whatever those initiatives are. We show the picture of a mailbox because that's a very common element. So take this time to think, do we need to put in place a group-wide initiative, something where maybe there's cost savings or one big project where everybody can gather together and get some kind of cost savings? But at the end of the day, think of this as that initial piece of communication that you want everybody to know about so that we don't have to send communication letters. Along with that compliance plan, give them the actual deadlines for some of these projects. Be realistic with it. So if somebody has to paint their mailbox, understand that it may take till mid-May for something like that to get done. But if you communicate March and April, you've given them 60 to 75 days of notification of what the mailbox needs to look like, where they can get the supplies, is there a group discount, et cetera, for just that one thing. But again, it can go into a much broader sense of those compliance elements that owners are responsible for. A very common question then is about committees as well. So don't wait until there's the need for a committee. Think about what this year is going to look like, and then build a committee to help offer that board a support system to then strengthen that piece of community, not only by getting board members to be, or getting residents to be in the relationship with what the community has going on, but it also helps develop those new board members. So really what you want to do is just start planning and creating those committee charters so that when a committee is already active, they've got their plan in place and what the purpose is and what kind of guidelines they have to work within. And then that final piece of this is the communication component. So gather all of this information that you've talked about and that you've put into some kind of paper format and communicate that regularly to the community. Create the communication plan so that people are regularly getting reminded of all the different activities and tasks that you put together. Be cognizant of communicating when community events are, board meetings, and those opportunities for people to talk in more detail about the events going on so that they're not just getting told what's happening, but they have an opportunity to be engaged with the community. And so take some time, think through these 5 elements, and really put some purpose behind your activities for the next 2 to 3 months as a board and planning ahead so that when it's time to implement all of these elements, you're ready to go. So I just want to say thank you all and cheers to a successful year.